So when we began trying to address how to serve students with disabilities during a pandemic, we could not ignore the fact that communities of color were disproportionately affected by COVID. We knew that our communities of color were facing a triple pandemic, COVID, racism, and capitalism. And we knew that our students with disabilities would not be immune. And we knew that we had to do something and that it had to be big. So we began reaching out to locals we had worked with, parent leaders that led us to parent leaders, as well as having conversations with disability advocacy groups. This resulted in a never before seen coalition comprised of parents, teacher unions, advocacy groups, and academics. Our locals include Austin, Boston, Madison, Milwaukee, Oakland, and of course, Los Angeles. I have to give them some major recognition because they've been parents from those locals, as well as Melina from San Antonio, and parents and educators from Juneau, Alaska. Our coalition also includes what this coalition did, what was so impactful about this coalition is how much we all needed this space to connect. Parents, educators, advocates, attorneys, and unions needed a space where we can address some of our differences, but more importantly, find common ground. And that common ground includes funding IDEA at the promise of 40%, which we've heard others reference, and the need for 504 funding, oversight, as well as guidance on how to serve our students post-pandemic. Our petition and our expert report is already making an impact, and it's because of this national coalition. No single local would have been able to this much attention on its own, but together it makes it really difficult to ignore. I'd like to review just a few of the key remedies we are seeking in the petition. We're seeking guidance, as you mentioned, specifically to address special education inequities, compliant investigators to review data and information for evidence of systemic discrimination, guidance on best practices for serving students with disabilities who are also English language learners, how to address implicit bias. We talked about the professional development, how we strive for more multicultural competency and implement restorative justice trainings to develop appropriate response plans. Furthermore, states and districts need guidance that will ensure those ARP funds that we're talking about are spent in equitable ways that will assist students with disabilities. And these are just a few, considering all that our youth has and will face, has and will overcome. We also seek guidance to address trauma and meet the social emotional needs of our students, including failure to comply with Section 504. Cecily mentioned the need, right? The thousands of districts who have gone without identifying a 504 only student. And making sure that this disparate impact violation is able to be discovered under anti-discriminatory law. We cannot stress enough how now is the time to invest in community-based mental health services. COVID-19 has shed a nasty but necessary spotlight, Catherine spoke of it earlier, on two of the many unstated pandemics that so many of us face daily, racism and ableism. And this coalition is proud to have a role in that crucial advocacy work. And if I'm allowed, I like to just, a shameless plug for those who wish to learn more about our petition. You can visit our website, www.fulfillthepromise.net, and they can also sign on to our petition and help us reach our goal of 25,000 signatures.